The future is in our imaginations. When I think of the future, I think about destiny and I think about possibilities. And as an artist, I love the future. Tomorrow, it's when everything is possible. And today, nobody can prove me otherwise. It's always about tomorrow. And the future, it's a great source of inspiration for all artists. Because the future, it's where we can build new worlds. So you see, I said when, and then after I say where. Because the future, it's both a space and a time. And we also use time and space in art. And as an artist, I have a goal, and it's to take a vision that I have in my mind and to make it visible for everybody else to see. Sometimes my vision is very, very blurry. So I need a process to find my vision and to see where it is and to bring it in the outside world. So my process, it's like to make research on the subject, and then I begin to make sketches. And in the sketches, I'm looking the direction I want to go. So it starts with very faint sketches, and my technique is paper cut, so I begin to cut some part, kind of look how it is, and from step to step, I arrive to a piece of work I'm ready to show to the world. So it's really interesting how the process is, because I have no much idea where I'm going at the beginning. And once it's finished, it's viewed, because in art, you have the makers and the viewers. Instead, sometimes it's the same person with the maker and the viewer, because as soon as the art is made, you look at it. And when you look at it, it's always, for the artist, a little deceiving, because it was much more possibilities when it was unfinished. So you always want to do another piece of work. So it's always about the next piece. And that's why all art is anticipatory, because you're always thinking how you're going to build a new piece. When it's other people looking at it, they have their feeling reaction. They tell you what they see or what they don't see in it, and then you begin to explore, and you make unexpected discoveries. Then you take notes on what works, what doesn't work, and then it leads you to another work, then another work. So it's always about a body of work. And most artists work through themes. And the themes chosen by the artist are very relevant for the future, because artists with their nonverbal languages pick up reality at a lot of different levels. There is a level of symbols, there is a level of feeling. And one of my theme is cities. And for sure, cities are a major problem for our societies and for our planet. And whether it's vertical cities like New York, or that they are horizontal cities sprawling like Los Angeles. And at first, I didn't think I was making an issue of speaking about cities. I just thought it was because I was living in Manhattan. So I was like a New Yorker, I make cities. But then after I began to see my cities were telling more than just my emotions. Because the present is the future of our past. So I began to visit my past future cities. You follow? And then with my past future cities, I was seeing that they were evolving. So at first, I was doing some cities that were kind of a whole accumulation of personal stories, memories from communities, or memories from persons. And then I have cities who are accumulation of knowledge. Sometimes I had other cities, accumulation of parties. And in 2000, it was my New Year card, I even had an accumulation of knowledge and parties. But after we began to have more talks about the global village and how everything is related from one place of the planet to another, so I began to make cities with different perspectives. And here it's New York City, but it's also on the other side, it's the Sakurajima, which is a very active volcano in Kagoshima in Japan. And I also began to have cities that have weather disasters, because that's what we hear more and more around. And I have different scenarios. So I made cities like New York Redux. So it's a city where the water, very similar to Manhattan, and the water rise, so the pet of choice is the duck instead of dogs. So instead of having the big dog for the Westminster show, it's the big duck Westminster show. So it's all kind of things we can do with art. And then I also was interested to make scenarios we have reduce our carbon footprint and how we can live in cities where we take less land. So I had 3 cities, and I also made cities where we can make vertical farming. So we have a direct access to produce. We have our green buildings, and we have a lot of different markets. So we have a different organization of the city. And all those scenarios are about future cities, but in fact, they are about the present. It's not so much about the future. And in all those cities, it's how to speak about the challenges of today. And the artists, whether their subject is the past, the future, or the present, it's always about the present. Because we only have one kind of point of view. And my other subject is human figure and body in motion. And that's our point of view. Because every emotion, every look at things, it's only from our body. And our body is rooted in a time and in a space. And we can only see from that perspective. And my body begins to have a lot of different worlds inside them. So the creation from pieces is always by intuition, you know. So I pick up random subject that I feel like making, and sometimes I have no idea what my subject is. And some other time I have other people telling me what my subject is and how they see the connection to the current affair. And sometimes I see what I wanted to see when I look again at what happened at that time in the news, in current affair, what was happening around in my city, and I can see what was my real subject, because it's also writing past, present, future in an emotional way. So you have things you see, you have things you don't see, but it's carrying a lot of messages. And I've been making cities for a while, and the irony, it's like I began to make impact on real cities by making public art. And public art is very interesting, because as an artist, you are using much stronger material. You are putting your art in a place where the public sometimes don't have access to art. And art is a great interaction. It's a perfect interface to begin to have an emotional discussion with people, whether the art is in commemoration for things from the past, or confrontational, or compassionate. It's always a conversation. And public art, it doesn't start with the artist. The public art, it always starts with the viewers. And it's one person or a group of persons who believe in the symbol of art that can make a beneficial adding to the communities. And those viewers, they are working through the structures of the cities to pass laws and to make organizations, and then in this organization to target place where to put the art, and then after to find the money to have the art made, and then only they begin to make a call for artists. So for an artist, when you see a call for artists, it's really a jump in the future, because you are imagining how the people are going to use that space, what they're going to do there, how physically they will arrive in that space, how they're going to walk in it. And you make a proposal. So the proposal, it's an intention. You put it in a piece of paper, you try to adjust of where it will be, and you give your intention. So here, it's a proposal I made for Los Angeles. It's for the metro on the Silver Line. It's the Harbor Gateway Transit Center. And I made a proposal to make vinyl on the canopy. Because when people are waiting for their bus or their subway, most of people are like that. You know, and then it closes you in. What you want is to be up, you know, to look at your future. And then with those canopies, it was like taking advantage to celebrate the space, you know, all the space we have around us, and to look up and upward. So with the canopy, it's called Dreams, and it's really looking the future and looking at the possibilities. And it was accepted, so you will have this subway station in the next year. So I invite you in the future to go to sit and look up in that station. And what you will be amazed at, it's like it's going to look nothing like the proposal. Because the proposal is just one of the steps of public art. Because once you're accepted with the proposal, then you begin to have meetings with the fabricators, and whether all kind of material have their limitation, but there are always limitations in the color you can choose, in the way it's reproduced, in what it costs to be made this way or that way, so you have different things coming on you, and there is the budget, but there is also the timing. So you have to adapt to reality, but when I work in public art, each step, whether it's in the fabrication or then after the installation, there really are rewards in every step of it, rewards and challenges. And I work with all kind of material, metal, glass, but it's also rooted in cut silhouettes. And every artist is using a method, a technique that's rooted in the past. And it's really interesting, like for the cut silhouettes, you know, silhouettes have been used by cave women, maybe cavemen, to put their hands on the wall of the cave to have their silhouette there. And then after, as paper cutting in China and then later popularized in Europe in the 18th century. So when we are doing art and making art, we have an access, we're gaining access to the past, to create in the present, and to have something to look for the future. And it's a continuation of space through time. You know, we are connected to our different roots. And that's what gives us keys to look at our world and to kind of find into all those emotions what we want as value for the future. And as an artist, I love to play with past, present, future, because art makes a lot of space to make it, but it takes a lot of time, and it makes us conscious of our mortality. And for the future, I have no idea what it will be. And it's not really important, because there is not really future. It's only about today, what we live in the present. But artists' dreams of the future and viewers' expectation of the future are very, very real. And I invite you all, whether you are makers or viewers, to invite more artists in your communities, in your home, to make those nonverbal languages, to start a conversation today about our tomorrows. Thank you.